A federal judge?
A federal judge.
A federal judge ruled in favor of the administration.
A federal judge has now blocked the third version of President Trump's travel ban.
With gridlock in Congress and President Trump in the White House, the power of the U.S. courts is becoming increasingly apparent and politicized. Republicans have a prime opportunity to leave their mark on the nation's courts.
It's always been that Republicans, for some reason, care more about the courts than Democrats do.
Supreme Court justices. That's all. That's all you have to think.
And Donald Trump really capitalized on that in this past election.
More than a quarter of Trump voters said the Supreme Court was the most important issue to them. With that momentum behind him, Trump entered the White House with 108 vacancies for federal judges with life terms. That's 1/8 of the nation's 870 federal judges, more than any president since Bill Clinton.
President Obama faced a Republican Senate in his last 2 years, and those Republicans really blocked his nominees. That left a lot of openings to be filled right away, almost historic level.
The Senate continues our work to confirm President Trump's well-qualified judicial nominees.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has made courts one of his priorities.
It's my top priority. So as soon as they come out of committee, if I have a choice between taking up a particular bill or taking up a circuit court judge, I take up a circuit court judge because I think it makes the longest lasting contribution to making this the kind of country it ought to be.
As older judges continue to retire, Trump has handed more vacancies. 18 months in, 145 vacancies waited to be filled. Trump had nominated 137 federal judges at that point. Only 43 of them were appointed by the Senate, but that's on par with past presidents. And by the end of Trump's term in 2020, more than half of all life-term judges will be eligible for retirement.
Over 99% of the cases are decided at the lower federal courts. And so it's really important to have judges at those levels who are going to be faithful to the law.
One relatively recent phenomenon is the role of outside groups in starting almost campaigns for these Supreme Court nominees and even for some of the lower court nominees.
Tell your senator, confirm Kavanaugh.
Put Kyle Duncan on the Fifth Circuit.
They are spending millions of dollars on both sides.
The truth comes out.
The number of groups engaged in fighting the Trump administration's court packing scheme has grown, hugely grown.
Our role, really, from my perspective, is from the outside to be able to defend some of those nominees and correct some of the misconceptions, the distortions of your record. And we've seen, as the politicization of the process has ramped up, that happening more and more.
The number of Trump's appeals court appointments in particular stands out. He's appointed far more judges to the Circuit Courts of Appeals than any recent president at this point in their term.
Appeals courts are important because they cover multi-state regions, and so whatever those courts decide becomes precedent in that region. Like all federal judges, they serve for life. And the Trump administration has really looked for younger judges. A lot of the judges that they've put on the appeals courts will serve for decades.
The bulk of our current federal judges were appointed by President Obama, but some who were appointed by Gerald Ford and Lyndon B. Johnson are still on the bench. Politicizing judicial appointments doesn't start or end with Trump, but his appointees could chart the nation's course for generations to come.